What's up, boys? I created 3 Warframes, 3 stories, and 3 sets of abilities. If anything I say makes no sense story-wise, that's probably because I completely just made it up. We will be talking about Nemesis, Arachne, and my personal favorite, Vulcan. Now, before I get started, I would like to say thank you guys for over 500 subs, because that's a lot of freaking subs. That means that there's at least 500 of you guys that found my content to be, not complete garbage. And that means a lot to me. I also want to say thanks to my boy Shadow Santos for getting these sick Warframe drawings to me. So if you guys want to check out her drawings, go to her Redbubble page, link in the description. Alright, let's go. Nemesis, the Saturn VI prisoner. The Queen sent out an elite group of Grineer to capture an Orokin soldier and imprison him in Saturn VI. Dr. Tengus took charge on different torture methods for the Dax soldier. He was placed in many different mechanisms that exposed him to all types of status effects. He experienced being burnt alive, loads of radiation, freezing temperatures, void exposure, and more. After realizing he would not speak, the Queens allowed Dr. Tengus to use one of the few infestation strain samples they had to transform the Dax soldier into a vessel the Queens could use for experimentation purposes. It was a failure. The body grew over time, and it developed multiple cracks across due to the previous beatings. The vessel also grew and mixed with the void exposure torture device. The body was taken to the lowest level of Saturn VI, where a lot of secret operations were taking place under high security and locked away from the rest of the prison. The last bit of intel known to us is from Alad V's files on the Wolf of Saturn VI. Apparently the prison experienced an energy blackout and explosion. There were no reported survivors. Nemesis is the reincarnation of pure power, or basically the male version of Valkyr. The passive. Allies and Nemesis receive an additional 25% power strength. When an ally is downed, they have lost your respect, allowing Nemesis to take back the buff for himself or give his ally the chance to redeem himself, maintaining the buff. If all allies go down at some point, you can collect all buffs for a total of 100% extra power strength. First ability, Trample. Dash forward, each step dealing impact damage to enemies. If Nemesis pins an enemy into a wall, he deals 50% of the enemy's maximum health as blast damage in an AoE 10 meter radius. The dash lasts 10 seconds. Energy wise, you're looking at probably around 30 energy. Second ability, Animosity. Your hate for the enemy grows, releasing a deadly aura that buffs him and his allies within a 25 meter radius. This aura allows him and nearby allies to move and use abilities at an increased rate. 10% movement speed and 20% casting speed goes up with power strength. For each enemy killed while buff is active, you regain 5% of your maximum health. Third ability, Nuclear Burst. Release a pulse of energy directed through the coils on his arms. The pulse blinds enemies within the cone's range, dealing 15% of their maximum health as a random status effect. Any of all 15 status effects. Now, this ability will cost 0 energy and can be casted after 20 kills. It will have a little charge period. For this ability, built-up rage must be released. If this power is kept, the Nemesis will take 10% of current health as damage over time until the power is released from his coils in his arms. Coils grow excessively, hinting that this ability should be used soon. And lastly, his ultimate, Might. Grab an enemy, a non-boss enemy, and rip them in half, instantly killing them. Upon the enemy's death, nearby enemies are feared for 10 seconds. Nemesis will be a pretty good name for this, to be honest, but I do get it if they can't use that name because, there's this dude over here that already exists, so I don't know if DE can do that. Next up, Arachne, Weaver of the Necrolisk. Arachne was created for the luxurious Orokin that the Necrolisk housed. Her design focused on creating silk or other materials and refining them for the Orokin to use. As far as it is known, the Entradi have lived in Deimos for a very long time, taking residence within the Necrolisk. When the infestation took over, the family lost their names to the hive mind and their luxurious defensive units, the Necromechs. They became berserk. Arachne was also lost to the infestation, the countless years resulting in her fine silk becoming twisted flesh, her frame merging with newer strain of infestation, creating an abomination. She now resides deep within the Cambion Drift, awaiting for the unwary to fall into her web traps. Passive, on melee, chance to deal toxin damage. Now we're looking at probably 5% chance for 5% toxin damage, just completely added into your overall damage as your passive. First ability, Webs. Arachne deploys a web where enemies passing through are slowed by 30% and lose their weapons in the web, disarming them permanently. Webs will only allow 6 enemies to pass before the web rips. Arachne can put up to 2 webs at once, 30 energy cost. Second ability, Feast. Arachne shoots webs at a target, entangling them and pulling them forward towards her. Once the enemy reaches Arachne, she bites them, dealing 20% of the target's maximum health as toxin damage, and healing her for 20% of her max health. Third ability, Imprison. Arachne fires webs around her, entangling 8 enemies max for 15 seconds within a 15-meter radius. And lastly, her ultimate, Metamorphosis. Arachne reveals her true form, gaining 20% movement speed and 30% evasion. In this form, Arachne does not use weapons, she instead uses her palps, or at least like spider-like arms, to attack enemies. The damage scales from her equipped melee weapon, while power strength increases damage by some percent. I don't know what will be a fair enough percent, I couldn't tell you, but that's kind of what would happen. I couldn't come up with a more clever name than Arachne, so if you guys have something better, let me know that in the comments down below, because I think Arachne's kind of lame, but it is what it is, you know? And lastly, my personal favorite, Vulcan, the blacksmith. The Orokin used Vulcans in order to effectively craft weapons much faster for the old war. These warframes were specifically designed to have built-in furnace inside their bodies that could instantaneously heat up metals and mold them to whatever was desired. Vulcans were known for their crafting speed and precision when it came to weapons. More successful Vulcan warframes were able to create stronger variants than the standard weapons, which is what we call Prime now. These warframes were never meant to fight and were intended to only create weapons. However, the Tenno were able to manipulate the special furnace inside these warframes and cause severe damage to anyone in their way. Now, the passive, Fire procs from Vulcan last twice as long. So pretty simple on this one. But first ability, Forge. Vulcan forges 4 knives and throws them to nearby enemies, dealing 300 fire damage, proccing fire on any of the enemies that are hit. And then the amount of knives will also scale based on your power strength. The more power strength, the more knives you will have. Second ability, the Sun. Vulcan releases fire from within, creating a lava ball that has 15 charges max. Each shot will go to the nearest enemy within 15-meter radius. The ball will remain where it's cast until it runs out of shots. It's basically like a turret, but in a sun form. Third ability, Furnace. Vulcan overheats, making 30% of incoming bullets burn up before hitting him, so basically like a 30% evasion effect. Enemies within melee range catch on fire as well. And lastly, his ultimate, the Gladius. Vulcan forges and slams a greatsword into the ground, creating a wave of fire that deals 100 fire damage to enemies per second within range. The affected ground surrounding the greatsword Gladius will provide allies with an aura of plus 40% fire damage on their weapons, and it will scale based on power strength. The overall aura has a radius of 25 meters, base duration of 30 seconds. Enemies within the aura will suffer 100 fire damage per second. There you guys have it, 3 brand new Warframe designs you have not seen before, because I literally made these up not too long ago with my boy Shadow Santos. But yeah, once again, you guys should definitely check out her Redbubble page and show her some love, because she put a lot of work on these drawings, and if no one buys her stuff, then I might have to pay her for the work she's done. And you guys know that your boy Brali is broke as fuck. And if you guys really enjoyed her drawings, go check out her Fiverr page as well. If you want very specific drawings, she will go ahead and partner up with you to make it happen. Fiverr link down in the description as well. And that is it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to destroy that like button, subscribe, let me know what you thought about these Warframes. And once again, thank you guys for 500 subscribers. You guys are the best. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.